Welcome to the Racing Nuggets podcast. I'm PJ Noodleman, joined by my co-host, Mr. Dan Plan. Hello, Daniel.
Hello, glad to be back.
Well, and we're here to share some news, and that is that starting in June, we're going to be going every other week instead of every week. So we'll have a podcast drop. The next one after this will be on June 13th. And we're going to go every other week. It's a little too hectic with a full-time job to try to get people lined up and get it produced and all the things in 1 week with a full-time job. And you're retired, Dan, but you're actually more busy now in retirement.
Yeah, it does get a little hectic. I mean, granted, I don't have to go to work every day, but I got a lot of other things that I like to do. And so yeah, it'll be a nice little break to go every other week. And have gotten a lot of positive feedback on all of the episodes we've done so far. So that's been really cool to hear, and looking forward to see who we have coming up down the road here as the summer comes along.
I am too. And you are extra busy. I think you're hitting more races now than you did before you were retired.
This year it did get a pretty slow start because it rained and snowed pretty much through April. So I did get a good number of races in the first weekend in May. And then I'm probably just going to go once or twice a week. I'm not going to go crazy. I do like to do yard work and stuff like that. So I want to spend my time doing that. And I still do work 2 days a week. So
Are you serious?
I do.
Okay.
I was putting mulch down today and doing some edging, and
Would you like to come visit me?
No, I like to do my yard work. No, I don't like to do it for anybody else. I trying to utilize this time to make my yard keep up with all the neighbors, because all my neighbors are fully retired. So
I have one of those, and he has a putting green on his lawn. So when I don't get to my lawn right away, he's very thrilled with me.
I'm not going to get to that point, but I'm going to try to keep it green and keep the grass cut.
I want to ask you also 2 other things. You go to Cedar Lake a lot. You also do that other podcast with them, or the show.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that.
That one was Brad Bolt's idea. He's one of the owners at Cedar Lake. It's Brad and the Kaufman brothers are the ownership group at Cedar Lake Speedway. So Brad had the idea of starting their own YouTube channel to highlight some of their special events and interview drivers throughout the course of the year. So we've recorded 2 of those. It works out pretty well because they do the recording in my garage. The drivers come over here, and then Marty Gallagher. I'm just not comfortable. I'm not comfortable doing this with you. But I didn't want to be the host of a show. So Marty Gallagher does the driver interviews, and it's a fun time. We sit around and do that in my garage, and then they use them to highlight what they have coming up in the future. And now they're starting to now that they've actually got a few races under their belt, there's some highlights on that. It's called the CLS Show on YouTube. So you can look there on YouTube, or you can go to the Cedar Lake page to see some of the links they've posted there as well.
Do you all drink while you're recording it?
No, they don't. Well, I might. It does go pretty late post recording sometimes. So yeah, that's we got another one coming up next on the 31st, the last weekend or last week of May. So got that coming up. So
you and I should do one that we just drink.
I thought about grabbing one when I got home here today.
I did too. And then I thought, well, if I have one and you didn't, that would be weird.
My refrigerator's right over there.
You also have your own like special seating up at Cedar Lake, don't you?
I do. It was something my dad purchased. He probably had it for 15 or 20 years. And then when his eyesight isn't the best and he can't drive at night. So he didn't renew it probably 5 years ago. So I have a reserved box on the backstretch that I'm sharing it with Joe Nicius, who drives a Midwest mod. He works for Mergix. So I share it with his family, and then my son will sit with me when he comes out. And so it works. So you don't, most of the time you don't need a reserved seat for a weekly show anywhere these days. But at the, the 4 or 5 really big events at Cedar Lake, it's nice to have something where you don't have to
Yeah.
tape down the blanket, and it's up high so I can videotape and all that good stuff.
You should take me there sometime.
You're more than welcome anytime.
Nice. You like how I invited myself?
Yeah. I've seen Johnny out there a couple times. I've tried to get him to come up. Johnny's Hobbies. So.
Oh, Johnny Gilbertson. Yeah.
Yeah, he's come up. I think he usually comes up for the World of Outlaws. So
he would be another great guest for us to get on here at some point.
Yes, Johnny is always fun to talk to.
Oh my gosh. Our dog Pudge, the one right here in the middle. Pudge loves Johnny. I think it's because he's got that big beard and he thinks he's one of him. He's furry.
Or he's Santa Claus.
Yeah, or that. Another question I was going to ask you about was, obviously, you are the proprietor at Midwest Racing Connection, and just wanted to know if you'd like to invite people to advertise on there.
I am more than open to any new advertisers. So yeah, if you want to advertise in the paper, it's very reasonable rates. It's free, so it is shipped to about a half a dozen different tracks, and there's paper racks there so folks can pick it up for free. Also have subscriptions available for folks that want to get a copy in the mail. So, and then it's also always available in a digital format on the website at theracingconnection.com.
And I, of course, promised you I was going to sell sponsorships, and I still am. I just need, now that we're going every other week with this podcast, I should have more time to devote to that. So that was another ulterior motive with this move to go every other week. There we go. Well, I know I've been accused of talking quite a bit on these podcasts, so I wanted to make sure that you talked a lot. That way folks know that you do talk too.
I tell everybody that I'm totally comfortable with being like the Ed McMahon to Johnny Carson on this deal. I just kind of sit off to the side on the couch and maybe every once in a while. But no, I'm totally comfortable with, chiming in a few times here and there and helping arrange, get a few of the guests on. So I'm completely fine with that role.
You have been very helpful in that regard. And I know even though we're saying we're going to go every other week now, we might occasionally have some special editions, like maybe going live from your Dolphin at Oktoberfest or something like that. So we'll see.
Thing, yeah. Having an RV is, even if they're new, which mine is not, mine is probably almost 30 years old now. So there's always something wrong with them. Usually not something major, but always something to fix. So got that going on too.
So it's like a race car.
Yeah. It's nowhere near as fast. Probably a little less expensive too.
But it has a lot of character.
It does.
Yeah. I like your motorhome. Well, Dan, I'm very appreciative that you agreed to do this with me when I first asked you. And I can't believe we went 6 months doing one every single week. I think that's pretty awesome. But for now, we're going to switch then, like we said at the top, to every other week, with the next one after this coming out on June 13th. And as always, we appreciate everyone for watching on YouTube or downloading it wherever you get your podcasts. And Dan and I will have our next guest for you on June 13th. Any final thoughts, Dan?
I think you got it all covered. I'm good.
All right. Well, thanks, everybody. We'll see you in 2 weeks.